Imagine this. In the world's second biggest economy, millions of young people have quietly decided to just stop. Stop grinding. Stop buying houses. Stop getting married. Stop having kids. They call it lying flat. And it might be the biggest threat China's growth story has ever faced. Hey everyone, welcome back to Edgeverse. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and honestly terrifying social movements happening right now, China's lying flat generation. By the end of this video, you'll understand why millions of 20 and 30-somethings are walking away from the rat race, and why that decision could ripple across the entire planet. Let's go. It all started with one viral post in April 2021 titled, "Lying Flat is Justice." The guy basically said, "I've been unemployed for 2 years, I sleep when I want, I eat cheap, and I'm happier than ever. Working yourself to death for a system that doesn't reward you? Hard pass." Within weeks, the phrase exploded. Lying flat, Tongping, means exactly what it sounds like. Do the bare minimum, reject the 996 hustle culture, don't chase promotions, don't buy property, don't get married, don't have kids, and definitely don't fall into the consumer debt trap. It's not laziness. It's a calculated no, and it's spreading like wildfire among Gen Z and younger millennials. So why now? Let me paint the picture most young Chinese grew up with. 1990s, 2000s parents. Study hard, get into good university, get good job, buy apartment, get married, win at life. That social contract actually worked for their parents. China was growing 10% a year. First movers got rich. Fast forward to 2025. Same insane effort, but the rewards? Gone. Top-tier university degree? Now just the entry ticket. Housing in Tier 1 cities? 50 to 80 times annual salary. 996 tech job? You're still renting a 12-square-meter bedroom with 5 strangers at age 30. Real wages haven't kept up with living costs. The Gaokao exam is still brutal. And then COVID hit, layoffs happened, and a lot of people asked, wait, I did everything right, and I'm still exhausted and broke. Why am I killing myself? So they stopped. They're not burning the system down. They're quietly walking away. And that's what terrifies Beijing more than any protest. Let's talk macro consequences, because this is where it gets scary. China spent 15 years trying to switch from export-led growth to consumption-led growth. Guess what fuels consumption? Young people buying apartments, cars, getting married, having kids. Lying flat slogan literally says, don't do any of that. Retail, real estate, automotive, huge chunks of the economy are already feeling it. Xi Jinping wants indigenous innovation to beat the US in AI, chips, green tech. Who's supposed to pull 80-hour weeks to make that happen? The exact demographic that just said nah. China's fertility rate is already 1.0 to 1.1. Korea level bad. Lying flat is basically a youth boycott on reproduction. By 2050, China could lose 200 million to 300 million working-age people. Fewer workers plus more retirees equals pension system collapse, higher taxes, slower growth. Apple, Tesla, Adidas, everyone moved factories to China because of endless, cheap, motivated labor. If that labor quietly decides, I'll do the minimum and go home, costs go up, reliability goes down, and companies speedrun their China plus one strategies. First reaction? Panic and censorship. Within weeks, the word Tangping was scrubbed from Weibo, Douyin, anywhere. State media called it shameful. Then came the propaganda push. Struggle is glorious. Common prosperity. Think of the motherland. But here's the problem. You can delete memes. You can't delete unaffordable housing. You can't delete 996. You can't delete the feeling that the game is rigged. The more they censor, the cooler lying flat becomes. It proves the system is scared. Some analysts say, relax, when the economy improves, they'll jump back in. I'm not so sure. Surveys show younger Chinese still believe in hard work, in theory. They just don't believe the system rewards it anymore. That's a value shift, not a mood swing. Once a generation decides the social contract is broken, it rarely gets unbroken. The last generation believed sacrifice would be rewarded. This generation watched their parents sacrifice and end up exhausted anyway. More surveillance, social credit penalties for insufficient effort, forced overtime. Result? Even bigger brain drain and underground resentment. Government shrugs, lowers GDP targets. Pivots to welfare state model, shorter working hours. Politically very hard for the party. Attack root causes. Crack down on 996. Build millions of affordable homes. Raise wages. Chill the education arms race. Possible, but expensive and slow. Muddling through. Half-hearted reforms. Persistent low morale. Growth stuck at 3 to 4% forever. Japanification with Chinese characteristics. Even if you don't live in China, this matters. Your iPhone, your clothes, your Christmas lights, your EV battery. Most of it still comes from factories where workers are quietly lying flat. And when the world's factory starts phoning it in, prices go up, shelves go empty, and investment portfolios get weird. More importantly, this is a warning for every society that's been telling its kids, just work harder and you'll make it. Because one day the kids might look around, do the math, and just stop. Lying flat isn't the disease. It's the fever telling you the patient is sick. China has to decide. Keep forcing the old model until it breaks completely, or finally write a new contract with its young people. Which one do you think they'll choose? If you found this deep dive useful, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. I drop big picture videos like this every week. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever felt the urge to lie flat in your own life? And what do you think happens to China in 10 years? Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.